repeat here my conclusion that there are no any valid theological arguments in favor of monarchy as a political model from the Orthodox Christian perspective. In fact, that kind of fascination with absolutism and empire is related to the power and influence of the political agents, which fascinates some Christians, but is also related to the power and influence that religious leaders gain within a certain society and state, where orthodoxy becomes more a political ideology and less an authentic Christian faith. In defense of the Byzantine Christianity supported state-based nationalism and imperialism, one can only say that it had been a lesser evil than the later tribal and ethnic nationalisms which were occasionally combined with imperial policies. This combination led to the famous cult of the emperor and empire in Russia, where Tsar, the state, and the nation were seen as metaphysical categories that are intertwined, indivisible from each other. Because religion has always played a significant role in the formation or preservation of particular cultural and ethnic identities and states, it is not very difficult to connect even modern secular nationalisms with Orthodox Christianity. Thus, Orthodoxy has played an important role in re-establishing sovereign states of Christian people in the European territories where the Turkish occupation lasted for centuries. Orthodoxy was also an effective means of the creation of modern national identities, national histories, and national myths. However, there is nothing uniquely Orthodox in these developments. Since religion plays an important role in finding a collective identity and culture everywhere, similar processes can be seen outside the Orthodox role as well. Thus, British identity is perceived as naturally linked with the Anglican Church, and by the way, Great Britain remained one of very few theocracies in the developed world. The head of the state is at the same time the head of the church. Catholicism with the self-determination of the Spanish, Polish, or Croats. While various Protestant churches became the national churches in, for example, Czechoslovakia and in the Nordic countries. Particular Christian identity as a means of social and political cohesion has often served as the basis of national identities, even in the cases when particular national or ethnic collectives have obviously been divided among different Christian denominations, as in the case, for example, of Hungarians or the Serbs. Most attempts to justify some form of nationalism or statism, including the militant ones, from a point of view of orthodoxy or broader Christian perspective, are curiously but not surprisingly based on the Old Testament. Probably the best example to demonstrate how particular Christian nationalisms are defined with Old Testament arguments is the concept of Christian nations. Christian nation is often identified with the concept of the people of God, or the concept of chosen people. In the Orthodox version, we very often find that the chosen people are understood as Orthodox nations. According to this logic, the nations or ethnic groups that have accepted Christianity are transformed into Christian nations or Christian people. Thus, the Greeks, Romanians, Russians, or the Serbs would be examples of such Christian nations. The same logic is capable of embracing whole states. Thus, empires, the Byzantine Empire, for example, can also be perceived as being Christian in its identity. The ruler, the emperor or the king, draws his legitimacy from the Old Testament kings by becoming almost an icon of David or Solomon. The role of the political leader is to be obedient to God, to defend the Orthodox faith, and, if possible, to spread. In this mode of thinking, as long as the emperor is obedient to God, God will support him as well as the entire empire and the God-loving nation. At work here is a special pseudo-Christian